Hey, what's up? It's Nathan here with thebtccourse.com, and in this video, we're going to set up a Bitcoin Multisig Wallet using Nunchuk, and we're going to be using our mobile device to set up this wallet. And so in this video, we'll go ahead, set up the wallet, we'll receive some Bitcoin, we'll send some Bitcoin, and go over a couple settings along the way. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this works on iPhone as well as Android devices. They also have a desktop version as well, and I have another video on that. They also do collaborative custody, which is kind of nice, where you can have a third party store one of your keys, or you could work with, a parent or a sibling or something like that to set up a collaborative multi-sig wallet. Also, they do have inheritance planning as well. And I'll have other videos on some of those other topics. This one's just setting up the multi-sig wallet on your mobile device. And so I'm going to go ahead and pop over to my phone here and get into it. So I've downloaded the app, and it asks us if we want to go ahead and sign in, or we can create an account as well. Now this is if you want to do collaborative custody, or you want some other more advanced features like inheritance planning or something like that. So in this particular example, I'm going to continue as a guest. So I'm not going to have any sort of KYC material associated with my account. So I'm going to tap on continue as guest. Now, of course, when you're in guest mode, it doesn't have all these advanced features like I was just saying. So keys and wallets created in guest mode are stored locally, so on my phone. They will not be removed until you manually delete them or uninstall the app. Messaging and collaborative multi-sig wallets are currently not available in guest mode. So kind of makes some sense. You kind of need an email address or some sort of personal identification in order to do collaborative multi-sig. Like that way I could email like a partially signed Bitcoin transaction to somebody. They could sign it and they could email it back to me. Now it doesn't go over email, it goes through the app, but hopefully you get the idea. Anyway, I'm just going to say got it. And here we are inside of the app. And so I want to go over a couple of these things at the bottom first, and then we'll get into adding keys and creating the wallet and stuff. So you can skip ahead if you want to. But if we click on services, so this gives us the services that are available if you have an account with Nunchuk, and they have different levels of paid plans. So no single point of failure, inheritance planning, emergency lockdown, flexible spending policies, cloud backups and assist recovery, in-app chat support, and hardware discounts. So a couple different features if you're interested in that. Messages, so I just clicked on that. So if you want to, this would be the collaborative multi-sig. So if you have, your parent, your brother, a friend, somebody you trust, a confidant, that you want to, have them have a key where they could sign transactions, well, then you need to create an account, and they would have a Nunchuk wallet with an account, and you could send that transaction to them. So this messaging is for sending the transactions back and forth between different individuals. And then of course we have our profile right here. So we could change our display unit. So I'll tap into that. So there's Bitcoin, show fixed precision, or we could display it in SAT. So, personal preference right there. Your local currency. So of course, if you want to change it from USD to something else, there's the options right there. Network settings. So here you could go ahead and, right now I'm connected to their Nunchuk server, but if you have your own node or you want to use somebody else's node, you can go ahead and change out this information right here and you use a different Bitcoin node, which is probably ideal. I mean, I trust Nunchuk, the company, but if you have your own node, it's best to run your transactions through your own node. Wallet security settings, tap into there. So we can hide wallet details. So like our balances would be, asterisks, hidden, censored. And you could also add some pins for your wallet. So that way it's a little harder for somebody to get into if they get access to your phone. And then finally, we have about, so this is where you can follow them on Twitter or contact them if you need help with something. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So in order to create a multi-sig wallet, we need to have some keys first. So we need, multiple keys or signing devices in order to create a multi-sig wallet. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Now, typically you'll create like a 2 or 3 multi-sig where you need 2 keys out of 3 keys in order to sign a Bitcoin transaction and have it go through. So the Nunchuk tool, so I'm going to click on add keys real quick and go into more detail. So it gives us a few options right here. So we can add an NFC key, an air gap key, or add a software key. So I'm going to be adding an NFC key with my Coldcard here, NFC key with my Tapsigner here. Now if you had like a ledger or a treasure or something like that you wanted to use, you need to use the Nunchuk desktop app. So I have a video on that, link in the description down below. But yeah, you can't use your ledger as a signing device with the Nunchuk mobile app, at least not at this point in time. They might change it later on, but not right now. You can also do air gap. So if you have like another air gap device, like I have the Keystone right here, which is an air gap device. So I could use this with the app, but it's a little more cumbersome than NFC. NFC is really nice and convenient, and these Tapsigners I think are like $30. So you can buy 2 or 3 of these things for less than $100, and have a really secure wallet. So could be a good option. And yeah, I have a video on Tapsigner as well if you're interested in learning more about it, and video on Coldcard as well. So link in the description, of course. So I'm going to do 2 NFC keys and 1 software key in this video. So let's get into it. Add NFC key. All right, so we have Coldcard and Tapsigner, or I could recover Tapsigner key from backup. I'm not doing that right now, but we'll go ahead and start with the Tapsigner because that is very easy. So Tapsigner. So Tapsigner is a wireless NFC smart card that will sign transactions with a simple tap on your phone. On the next screen, place and hold your card near the top of your phone where the NFC chip resides. Make sure you hold it until the app shows a success notification. Okay, continue. All right, so now it's asking me to sign it. So I put literally just hold it up there, processing, and all right, key name. So I'm going to go ahead and do Tapsigner and continue. And then I got to enter my PIN that I set up on my Tapsigner card. And then it wants me to scan it again, so literally just hold it up there, and it loads in there. And there we go, check mark. And my Tapsigner is connected, so I can exit out of here. And now I have 1 of 3 keys created, so super simple. So come back over here to keys, and I'm going to add another NFC key. And this time I'm going to go ahead and select Coldcard. And so a little bit more detailed instructions. So I need to plug my Coldcard in real quick and get some power to it. And so I've initialized my Coldcard and unlocked it, and I've also gone through the steps of enabling NFC. So make sure you follow the steps. They're simple steps, especially if you have a Coldcard and kind of familiar with it. You should be able to follow along. So then I'm going to go ahead and tap on continue here. And then it says Coldcard NFC tip. On the next screen, bring the tip of your phone as close as possible to Coldcard's NFC chip, which is centered around the number 8 on the keypad. Now, I will be honest with you. I have had trouble. You really have to have it like right there on the 8. Hopefully I can show you in that video. Like, you really have to have it right perfectly aligned. I've had trouble reading the key from a Coldcard, but it also might be my case. So if you're having trouble, maybe take your case off or line it up perfectly. So that is a good tip. Continue. So now it's ready to scan. So it says on Coldcard, go to Advanced Tools, Export Wallet, Generic JSON, OK, enter 0 for account, press 3, then hold your device near the Coldcard. So I'm going to go through those steps. And now I'm holding my phone up to the 8 right here. Oh, and it read right away that time, so awesome. All right, so it gives us a couple different options here, and you want to select the top one, the M84H version. So I'm going to tap on that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and name my key. So Coldcard, and return, and continue. And there's my information there. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this screen. So now I have 2 keys, so my Coldcard and my Tapsigner. And then what I want to go ahead and do is create a 3rd key. So I'll tap that. And this time I'm going to do a software key. So the software key is managed by the app. So that means that the key is actually going to be stored on my mobile device here. So it's not a secure key like, the Coldcard is NFC. So this is a offline cold storage device, and so is my Tapsigner. Like, there's no way to connect this card to the internet. So my key is offline in this on a Tapsigner as well as a Coldcard, but a software key is on my device. So just something to note. It's not as secure, but that's why we have 3 different keys, and a person would need 2 of the 3 keys in order to send the transaction. All right, so now the private key is stored on this device. Please keep your device safe to prevent your key from being compromised. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new seed, but if you have a seed that you want to use or recover, you could tap that option. So create new seed. So there's my words right there. So now I want to go ahead and write these words down on pen and paper and store them somewhere nice and safe, or I want to hammer them into steel so that way they're waterproof, fireproof, etc. This is basically my username and password to access the Bitcoin on the blockchain. So you want to keep this information private. So I'm going to go ahead and write these down real quick and be right back. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. So now it's giving me a little quiz. So word number 20 is annual. Word number 10 is blast. And word number 24 is gravity. So continue, and then give your key a name. So this will be my Nunchuk key, and continue. All right, so now it's asking if I want to set a passphrase, which is like the 25th word of your seed phrase. I'm not going to do this in this example, so I don't need a passphrase. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap on the X right here. And there we go. I've set up all 3 keys. Now, you only see 2 here, but if you scroll to the right, you can see the 3rd one. So it'd be nice if they listed them, vertically instead of horizontally, but whatever. It's not that hard to scroll over if you need to. Now, I do want to go ahead and tap into one of these keys, so I'm going to just tap into Nunchuk real quick and click on these 3 dots right here. So we could also go ahead and sign a message with this key. So there might be a time when you need to sign a message but not actually send a transaction. Basically, you might sign a message in order to confirm that you actually have that key. And it's kind of an advanced thing, but they do have that option. Or if you get rid of this key, you could go ahead and remove it from your device as well. So just wanted to point out those 2 options while we're here. All right, so now let's go ahead and create our wallet. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the plus button here. All right, so I use a multisig wallet for maximum safety. A multisig wallet has multiple keys. If one is compromised, your fund is still safe. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and create a new wallet. And I need to name it, so demo wallet. And then customize address type. So the default is native SegWit, and I'm going to tap this just for example. So there's different options: native SegWit, nested SegWit, legacy, and taproot. Now, unless you know what you're doing, go with the default native SegWit. You can't go wrong there. If you're doing some fancy stuff, you might need to use taproot, but not all exchanges use taproot at this point in time. So if you use taproot, you might not be able to send your Bitcoin to your multisig wallet. So it's best to use native SegWit unless you know why you want to use taproot or one of these other options. So native SegWit is good. And then customize wallet type. So I'm going to go ahead and type that. So there's a standard wallet, which is the default. And then there's a special escrow wallet. So a special single-use wallet designed to hold funds temporarily. Now, I don't know how this works or why you would really use it. So I've not messed with it, but I don't know. Maybe experiment with it if this seems like something you want to do. So I'm just going to go with the standard wallet. All right, so now I'm going to tap on continue at the bottom. So now we need to go ahead and add some keys to this wallet. So I'm going to do my Coldcard. And I could leave it at that. This would just be a single sig wallet with my Coldcard, and I could tap my Coldcard to my phone and do a transaction. But I'm going to select 3 keys, Nunchuk and Tapsigner, in order to create that multi-sig wallet. Now at the bottom here, it asks us a required key, so number of signatures required to unlock funds. So right now I just have a 1 of 3 multi-sig, so I just need 1 of these 3 keys in order to unlock my wallet and send Bitcoin from my wallet. And the point of multi-sig is probably to have multiple signatures. So let's go ahead and bump this up to 2. So that would mean I need 2 of the 3 keys in order to send the Bitcoin. Now I could bump it up to 3, where I need all 3 keys in order to send the Bitcoin. So you could do that if you want to, but 2 of 3 is usually pretty standard. But maybe you have a reason for doing whatever it is you're trying to do. Anyway, I'm going 2 of 3 multi-sig, and I'm going to do continue. All right, so there's my information, my keys, and so on. So create wallet. Now it's asking me if I want to save my BSMS file. The BSMS file stores your wallet configuration. Now I do recommend you do this. That way if like Nunchuk breaks or your phone breaks or something like that, you could go ahead and restore your multi-sig configuration to another wallet. Like you could open this BSMS file in Sparrow Wallet, and then your multi-sig wallet configuration settings would be already set up, and you wouldn't have to worry about like reconfiguring your entire multi-sig setup. So I do recommend backing up this BSMS file just to have it for backup. You can save it to a micro SD card and just keep it safe and secure. Now, no one can access your Bitcoin if they get your BSMS file, but I don't know. I still like keeping it off the internet as much as possible. So you can go ahead and save your BSMS file, or I'll do this later, but recommend if you're doing like a true multi-sig wallet, back this thing up. But I'll do it later. So register wallet on hardware. If you have a hardware key in your multi-sig wallet, you might be required to register the wallet with the hardware before the key can be used. Choose the export option according to your hardware type. Please check the vendor's manual. And I'm using a Coldcard, so I'm actually going to go ahead and tap on Coldcard right here. And export via NFC is going to be my option. All right, so on Coldcard, go to Settings, Multisig Wallets, Import via NFC, press 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do those steps. And then again, I'm going to put my phone right up there against the 8. Transfer in progress. and I get my check mark. So awesome. My Coldcard should be good to go now. I'm going to go ahead and tap on done. And there we go. I've got my demo wallet on my phone now. So I'm going to tap into it. And so now it works basically like a regular wallet. So I can send some Bitcoin, receive some Bitcoin, which we're about to do, and then we'll go ahead and send it. We can also view coins, so we can view our UTXOs or unspent transaction outputs, which is nice. There's my QR code, so somebody could scan that and send Bitcoin, or I could scan it and send Bitcoin to it. Or also, here's my address right here, so I could go ahead and send Bitcoin to this address, which is what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this address, and then I'm going to go to an exchange, and I'm going to send some Bitcoin to my Multisig wallet, so that way we can take a look at it and send it out and show you how that process works. So let me switch over to an exchange, and I'm just going to be sending $20 worth of Bitcoin here. And I'm going to go ahead and do a priority because I want to get it out of here. And I'm using Strike, by the way. If you're interested in learning about Strike, link in the description down below. And confirm. And okay. Now let me switch back over to Nunchuk. And so here we go. I can already see my incoming transaction. So it's pending some confirmations. But I can go ahead and tap into it real quick. And that's the amount I'm receiving. And we have more managed coin, which I'm going to tap on in just a second. But let's do more details first. So this is, again, just a summary of what I'm receiving and where the address I'm receiving it to and the US dollar amount. Now I could add a transaction note, so this is just info for myself in Nunchuk. So yeah, it's just personal, like maybe you want to say like why you received this Bitcoin or something like that, or what this transaction means. But I'm going to go ahead and tap on manage coin now. So this is where you can do some pretty cool stuff with this UTXO or unspent transaction output. So this coin right here is unique. So I can see where I received it on that parent transaction. So, and there's my little note to myself. And there's also view coin ancestry. So we can tap on that real quick. Now it's not showing me anything right now, but this would be like, let's say that I had like 1 Bitcoin in here and I sent out little chunks of it here and there. Well, then you would see like a breakdown or a hierarchy of, my transactions from that one UTXO, that 1 Bitcoin that I had in my wallet. So this feature might not be useful for, a $20 coin, but if it was $1 million coin, it would be pretty cool to see, where you sent these bits and pieces and so on. Now you could go ahead and lock this coin. So if you wanted to make sure you didn't actually spend this particular UTXO, it'd be a good idea to lock it. It's just like a double check, like, well, you don't want to spend this coin. Now, the reason you might want to lock a coin is maybe you have some that is non-KYC Bitcoin that, there's your identity is not associated with that Bitcoin. So you want to save that, for emergency purposes only or something to that effect. So locking this coin is for your own personal protection of you accidentally spending it when you didn't want to. Now, I'm going to want to spend it later, so I'm going to go ahead and unlock this coin. And so now there's tags. So this is just like how you can categorize this particular coin. So let me go ahead and click that button and create a new tag. So this is KYC, done. And I'm going to create another new tag and strike. So done. So, and just for example, I might have another one that's like non-KYC, done. So now I have, 3 tags, so I can go ahead and save. I didn't actually want my non-KYC tag on there, so let me go back to edit real quick and uncheck that one and save. So there we go. So now, I can go, if I have a bunch of coins in my wallet, a bunch of UTXOs, then I could filter them based off tags. So I could find all my KYC coins, all my ones that came from Strike or Coinbase or wherever you might have bought your Bitcoin, River, something like that. So you can tag it to organize your coins if you have a bunch of them. Now maybe you only have 3 and it's a lot simpler, but if you have a bunch of transactions, it's a very nice, handy tool to keep track of what coin is what. All right, collections. So let's go into here. And so this is just another way to go ahead and organize your coins if you want to. And there's a couple different settings here. So move all new coins to this collection and auto lock all new coins. So yeah, I'm not going to create a collection in this particular example, but it's here if you're interested in doing it. Personally, I usually just use the tag feature. I think that's good enough, but there's collections as well if you want to get into that. All right, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is basically wait for this transaction to confirm. So I'm back out of my coin details here. And I'll be back once the transaction confirms, and we'll go ahead and send the Bitcoin out of our wallet so you can see how the multi-sig feature works. Alrighty, so my transaction has confirmed now. We can see one confirmation. So now I want to go ahead and send it. Now, typically, of course, I wouldn't send my Bitcoin this fast. I would leave it in cold storage until it's worth $8 million, and then maybe I send it to an exchange to sell it so I can go buy a mansion or a Lamborghini or something like that. But anyway, for demonstration purposes, we're going to go ahead and send it. So tap on send. And then it's a new transaction, and so yeah, I can go ahead and tap up here and type in how much I want to go ahead and send. Of course, I wish I had 218 Bitcoin, but anyway, I'll go ahead and do send all right here. But there's also the option you could switch to USD, so you can see how much USD you're sending as well, or send all and switch back to BTC. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and tap on continue here. So now I could go ahead and enter or scan the recipient's address. So if I tap this in the top right corner, it loads up my camera and I could scan the QR code, but I have my address on my clipboard, so I'm gonna go ahead and tap here and paste it in there. So that's where I want to send my Bitcoin to. And this is my note, so sending to exchange to buy Lambo. Now I could go ahead and create the transaction or customize the transaction. So let's click in here real quick. So we have our fee settings. So my estimated fee is about 0.000 or 2,044 sats, easier to say that, or 62 cents US dollars, and my total amount right there. So right here, subtract fee from send amount. So the fee will be deducted from the amount being sent. The recipient will receive less Bitcoin than you entered in the send amount. So I only have one UTXO, and I'm sending my full UTXO in this, so I have to pay the fee from my Bitcoin holdings. But if you had multiple UTXOs, you could send it from another UTXO or pay the fee from another UTXO or something to that effect. We can also set a manual fee rate. So if we tap right here, we could set our fee. So if I went to like the mempool.space website, I could see what the fees are currently in the mempool. And let me just do that real quick for demo purposes. And so to get in the next block, it'd be about 22 sats per VByte right now, but then the second block is only about 12 sats per VByte. So, and I have a video on the mempool, so if you're unfamiliar with how that website works, link in the description down below. So anyway, I could go ahead and set a manual fee rate, and I know if I put in about 12 sats per VByte, I should be in the next block, or unless something happens, maybe I might get pushed over some, but I'm in no real rush. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap on continue now. And so there's my fee. And I'm at the confirmed transaction page, but I want to go back real quick, so go back and scroll down. All right, so here's the coin selection. So again, I only have one UTXO right here, but if I had multiple UTXOs, I could go ahead and select which UTXO that I want to go ahead and send from. But there you go, there's the coin selection, and if I tap on customize, I can go ahead and check which UTXOs I want to use, or coins as they call it here in Nunchuk. But now I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. And so this is where I'm sending it to, my estimated fee amount, total amount, sending to buy Lambo, and this is the coin that I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm and create the transaction. Alrighty, so I'm editing the video right now, and I realized I didn't cover this feature here. So in the top right corner, there's this icon, looks like, a person. And so you can send a batch transaction as well. So this would mean that you could send a little bit of Bitcoin to multiple recipients at once. So that way you would just do like one transaction, and you could send a certain amount of Bitcoin to as many different addresses as you want to, and you can save a little bit of money on fees and just kind of simplify the process. So I just wanted to show you that feature as well, but everything else basically works the same. It just, if you want to send to multiple addresses, you click that little guy in the top right hand corner. All right, now I need to go ahead and sign the transaction, and again, I need 2 signatures because it's a 2 or 3 multi-sig. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Nunchuk because the key's on my device, so it should be really easy to sign. So let's tap on sign, and boom, signed. So that was fast. And then Tapsigner I'm going to use as well because that's also very easy. So sign, and then I'll go ahead and enter my PIN. And this is the PIN for my Tapsigner card. And then it's asking me to scan it, so just hold it up there and processing, boop, signed, and tap out of there. So enough signatures have been collected. So that's so easy to sign those transactions. All right, now we'll go ahead and broadcast the transaction, and boom, it's sent, and the transaction has been broadcast. So let's go ahead and tap on it, and there's the details for it, or I can tap on more details if I want to, and I can see the fees I paid and everything else, and show my coin inputs if I want to, and so on. So all the details are right there. Let's go ahead and view it on the Blockchain Explorer. And so here's my transaction. Now it's taking a second to load the ETA, but we can still see the fee that I'm paying, my fee rate, the flow, and we can see that's a 203 multisig, and so on. So we can see all the details of my transaction. So pretty nifty stuff, but it's out there, broadcasted on the blockchain. Now, one last feature that I want to point out is, like, if you use too low of a fee or something like that, like maybe you accidentally type in 1 sat per VByte and, you know, it's going to take 8 weeks for your Bitcoin transaction to send. Well, you can also do a replace by fee, or RBF, and you could basically increase the fee you're willing to pay to be included in the next block. So to do that, you would come back to your transaction details, which is where I am right now, and you can click on these 3 dots. And then you see the option for replace by fee. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And it shows me my old fee rate at 12 sats per VByte. And I'm like, well, that's taking way too long. So I could go ahead and type in, you know, 40 sats per VByte and then create a transaction with the new fee rate. And that, of course, would bump up my transaction in the mempool. So hopefully it would be included in a block sooner and my transaction would confirm much sooner. So I just wanted to point out that feature out there because it can be very useful if you mess something up with the fees and you try and go too cheap and, you know, something happens, they launch some new ordinals or something like that and the mempool gets filled up. Well, you could go ahead and increase your fee if you need to. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this wallet. Again, there's more functions and features, especially if you have an account. There's also a desktop version. So yeah, lot of stuff. It's a great wallet. A lot of Bitcoiners really appreciate the company and respect it. So it's highly recommended from some of the most hardcore Bitcoiners. And yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, I appreciate any sorts of likes, comments, subscribes, anything like that. And or please check out thebtccourse.com. It's a free website with a lot of Bitcoin training on it. And it's just my way to kind of try and give back to the Bitcoin community. So again, free website, thebtccourse.com. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.